exceptional. So again, I mean, so yeah, I mean, there is an abundance of riches right now.
And it's like, how do I pick? And for me, a lot of what happens is what gets pushed in front of me.
Right.
Oh, this, okay. It's
like
a cafeteria.
And like I said, I've watched 2 episodes of Slow Horses, and if I had the time, I literally would have just watched them all. And I've watched one Ptolemy Gray, but if I had the time, I would just watch them all and be done with it. And be done with it. If I had the time, all of the Pachinko would be done. They would all be done, and I would be. I literally don't have the time, because you're right. There's this, there's that, there's other. There's Moon Knight on Disney. There's all these films coming out. I think we have 5 in theaters. At least I do. I think in the next 8 or 10 days.
Well,
plus, like I said, plus the handful of screeners.
Morbius.
Morbius, Fantastic Beasts, Sonic. What is Tuesday?
You won't be. Is there another You Won't Be Alone?
There's another screening, but I watched that when it was out on.
No,
it's ridiculous.
It is, and there's stuff that like
Ambulance,
Ambulance, the new Michael Bay film.
I mean, it's just crazy.
It is, and
Amazon has a new one coming out that actually that's in my inbox. The Chris Pine, the old knives. Yeah. Which is just all the old knives, which is another spy movie. So with a lot of intrigue and a mole and this and that and the other thing. So I have to watch that because that link expires.
Yeah, there's that, and there's the new Mark Wahlberg film, Father Stew, I think, or something.
Yeah, I haven't got
anyway. Yeah, I've got. I mean, yeah, but there's like just so much that I would love to do this 24/7. Well, I don't know if I'd love to do it 24/7, but
I could do it 20/4.
Yeah,
7.
but there's just
I don't sleep anyway, so it's like I only really need 4 hours. But yeah, you're right. But we both have other jobs, even though yours lets you do a lot of it. But anyway,
I mean, and there's a lot of crossover for me, but it's still crossover, and I'm not in a position where I can be at work a lot of the time and watch a movie.
Right.
I can't be, because that would get in the way of my other job and everything I have to do.
Yeah.
So it's rough.
So TV, the TV stuff makes it really, really hard.
Mm.
But then you tack all these movies on, like the one If You Have Time. We'll touch very quickly, and we're just it's not even going to separate episode, because I know we both want to talk about this movie.
Absolutely.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah.
A24. We say that a lot, don't we?
Well, I mean, and it's funny because there's this kind of thing. Oh, well, snooty people like H1 or whatever. I'm going to share. After walking out of this film, there was a group about 8 teenagers who were gathered in kind of a circle with each other, who were talking about this film. They were so excited. They were, comparing notes, and they were, talking about influences. And they were doing. I mean, it was pure geekiness, but it was probably the coolest thing that I've seen. Since pre-pandemic. Just seeing these young people excited about movies, wow. So, and with good reason.
Yeah. So real quick, so Michelle Yeoh,
yes,
runs a laundromat with her husband, and they're having tax problems, and they're fighting with the tax person, who's played by Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes.
They have a daughter who is a pain in the butt, and she is suddenly told that there is a multiverse that is under attack, and that they've figured out that she is the person best equipped to help defeat the evil that is trying to destroy everything. Who has failed at everything,
which is why she's
in her life, which is why she's perfect. which makes, I know that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense to her, but let's talk about
It
this for
doesn't
a
have
second. It doesn't, but but it makes perfect sense, even though it doesn't have to.
Sure.
But it's a multiverse movie, but we don't travel between dimensions or universes. It's I said it. I said this movie handles the multiverse issue as legitimately as any other multiverse film, and that includes Spider-Man. You know, that includes the one with Jet Li, if you remember that, a little bit of an influence there as well. And in many ways, I think it handles it better than most other multiverse movies.
It you know, I mean, it's funny because they kind of explain things, sort of, but then I you know, they don't over explain it. They don't, you know, it's like, well, here it is.
Right.
And
that's okay. As long as again, but that goes back to like my love of B science fiction. Explain it just enough to allow me to buy in. I don't need a schematic.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, they have a map. That's about as detailed as it is, kind of like a map.
But it's a motion map. It's constantly changing. And that is really what I love, because really in this, the whole multiverse is driven by random events.
Yeah.
Like really random events. It is I just, like I said, I just thought it handled that so well. And and the real reason we're talking about this obviously is because we're both about to go. The Oscars are done. We can talk about next year now. Let's talk about Michelle Yeoh.
Can we?
Yes, we can. The Oscars are done. So we can talk about next year now.
She plays, I don't know how many characters in this. And well, I guess she plays one character, but so many variations of that character. Some of them, you know, are more skilled than others. Some of them, you know, I mean, I think she's one of the most underrated actresses in the history of cinema, at least in North America. I think Asia, they probably, you know what they have a little more than you know, we take her for granted. I think a little bit because she has done a couple of films here or there that really weren't quite up to her standard, but it's just this is one of the strangest, but it makes sense movies. If that, you know, I don't know how
you were talking about the kids come out talking about influences. I mean, let's name check some of the films that you can see in this. I already mentioned the one, Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yes.
The Improbability Drive. You know, Spider-Man, you know, pick a multiverse movie and it's in here, but then there's family drama in here. And like I said, that I honestly think the you know, Sliding Doors is in here, really, if you want to look at it that way.
Sure.
Sure. I think the thing that I love the most is that Michelle Yeoh is so good as an actress that she can convince you that she does not know how to do martial arts.
Well,
while simultaneously performing martial arts.
Yeah, I was going to say the just the fluidity of the film, I think, is exciting, and surprisingly not confusing. This movie could have been a complete and disaster and a mess, but somehow you've got the Daniels, who are the directors. They go by the Daniels, who did Swiss Army Man, but they're able to take this strangely absurd idea. And this applies to both of these films, of their films. They take this absurdness and then they humanize it.
It's exactly the word I was going to use. If you'd paused, I'd have jumped right in.
Yeah, I mean, so by the end of the film, you've gone through crazy Hong Kong cinema, over the top Hong Kong fighting scenes and kind of melodramatic office scenes, and her character's always kind of just daydreaming. But is she daydreaming, or is she actually jumping into another timeline? Or anyway, there's lots of stuff that's going on. but then suddenly you get this final act that just kicks your butt, emotionally, and it's like, how did we get here from there?
A series of random events.
You know,
That is how we got there.
Well, but you know, honestly, cinema is not easy to do. It's hard to make a movie.
Yes.
It's even harder to make a movie with a consistent tone that works. Now, making a movie with an inconsistent tone, and that's not entirely accurate, but I mean, there are certain parts of this film that don't feel like any other part of the film, and you shouldn't be able to get away with that. There are things that they do, but it works.
Do you know what this is? Do you know what this movie is? If it was going to be music, it'd be prog rock.
Probably, yeah, because you have these crazy intros, and then you change into a completely different timing. And
yep, this is like the prog rock of cinema.
Yeah, and frankly, and changing keys, they're changing. Yeah, I mean, this is a movie that shouldn't work. That on paper would probably be impossible to like go, okay, I can't envision what you're going for. You're gonna have to show me. You're gonna have to show this to me.
Somebody took a leap when they greenlit this.
Well, you know, I mean, and I probably, knowing, you know, I mean, I really loved Swiss Army Man. And
I liked it way more than I thought I was gonna. It's
such a weird, charming film, that I probably would have looked to this and said, okay, who are you casting? Oh, all right, just make it, and I'll try to make sense of it after the fact.
And that's important because you have to buy Evelyn, our main character. You have to buy her.
Yeah. Well, and you have to accept her limitations and her. I mean, she's even regardless of which version of her you're getting, she's a particular person, and not necessarily the greatest person in all her incarnations, which I think is probably fairly accurate. If there's, you know, 1,000 of us, not all of us are going to be good people. Some of us are going to be jerks. Some of us are going to be selfish. Some of us are going to be great at kung fu, and some of us are going to be great at trying to cheat on our taxes, but not really as great as we think we are, because, you know, we've got the enemy who's digging through our receipts. Which, I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis in this is just having a ball, I'm sure. But it's just, it's weird to I mean, it's a movie that is hard. I mean, just thinking about it, it's so strange and fun and different but familiar, and it's just kind of, I don't want to know if I can say a cinematic miracle, but in a way it is. It's like it just, honestly, this movie should not work at all.
No, and you said it earlier. Yeah, it's on paper. You know, there are projects this movie could go either way. It could be, it could be a train wreck. It could be good. And then there's some you look at, there's just no way that works. I mean, how many movie concepts have you heard? Oh, somebody's pitching this film or this adaptation. It's like, there's no way that's going to work. And, that's said a lot, but it's like, well, you can make it work, but it's like hot dog fingers. That doesn't work. How do you make that work?
And then how do you, again, go from that to having like a really solid emotional, I mean, I talked about this could be a train wreck. It is a train wreck. It is an absolute train wreck.
But it's the train wreck where everyone lives.
Yes.
It's like the anti-unbreakable train wreck.
Something. Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. And what is kind of nice is I think we've been introduced to the idea of the multiverse. So going in, they can kind of just say the multiverse, and we go, oh yeah, like in these superhero movies,
right.
In a strange way that we're already primed, so they can go in and say, well, this is how our multiverse works, and they don't, it's almost as if they took pop culture, and because there's so many multiverse things going on right now, and the Flash is going to have that, and
Yep.
it's just kind of this hot button thing at the moment. And they made this film that goes, yeah, we're going to squeeze this in just in the corner over here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to let you, your understanding of multiverse, kind of influence this really just crazy fun, but then poignant. Yeah. The family drama in there. There's some things that are said that are so brutal.
Yes.
That you're just like, wow. Of all the things you could have possibly said, that's probably the one you never should have. And yet it's coming from this character that you kind of root for. And there's just so much going on.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's just phenomenal.
And at the same time, what is the movie about? Well, they don't want to lose the laundromat.
They don't. Yeah, they're trying to save the laundromat.
What is this movie about? Well, is this laundromat that they might lose, and somehow the universe may, it's just strange. And
don't forget the bagel with everything.
Yes, the bagel with
everything on it. And we'll just
absurd. Yes.
But it's just Mel Brooks will love this movie.
Sure, it's the metaphor of life. We are trying to be the bagel with everything on it. And
it's incredible. I know you don't have a lot of time left, so we'll wrap that up. So we talked about some great television.
Yeah.
Moon Knight starts tomorrow on Disney Plus. Check it out if you don't already have Apple TV. I believe it's $4.99 a month.
Whatever it is.
I am this close to pulling. I just pulled the trigger on AMC Plus just so I can get Shudder.
Wow.
So
gotcha.
but there's a lot of stuff on AMC in the AMC realm that I'll be watching too. But again, so I've just piled more crap in my lap to watch. Yeah. But it's also good. So we covered some Apple stuff. We covered Pachinko. We covered Ptolemy Gray. We covered Slow Horses. We talked about movies coming up, and we talked about Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, which is literally what that movie is about. Michelle Yeoh is phenomenal. Check it out.
But it's not just her. The whole cast, everyone in that film is. It's the sort of thing you buy in or you don't. It doesn't work.
I think people walked out of the screening we were at.
Did they?
Early. There were people that left, and I don't recall seeing them come back.
Well, so what? That's good.
Exactly.
Actually, there's and I don't know if I've said this on here before, but if you make a movie that everyone likes, you haven't made the movie you wanted to make. If you can make a movie that some people love and some people hate, you've probably made the film that you want to make, because you've taken risks, and for some people those risks pay off, and for other people it's just too bizarre. It's too, but for me, that movie's just there's a lot of really great stuff right now. And that's exciting.
It is. It really is. So it's going to be a fun summer.
Who just sleep? What's that?
Right. Exactly. I told you, I don't really sleep. I take drugs and I don't sleep. So, it's like that 20 hours a day is starting to look pretty good. I'll just sleep from midnight to 5 or midnight to 4 and I'll be good. So that is it. We are going to be talking about a metric crap ton of films next week, I think, because we have so much on our plate to watch. But until we do, stay safe. Go to a movie. They're literally just point at the marquee, and odds are you're going to find something worth watching. It feels like an embarrassment of riches right now, and the big movies are going to keep coming. But go to a theater this week, have fun, grab some popcorn. There's date movies out there. There are not date movies out there. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once opens next week, I believe, on the 8th. So check that out when it hits theaters. Hopefully it hits. I didn't think this would work art house or not art house, but it might actually be okay in Shane.
It could.
We'll have to see how that goes, but it's not going to win It's not going to win the box office because it is not for because of what else, because of what else is out there. Sure, not because it's not worthy, but because of what else is out there. So don't overlook this one. But stay safe, be good. Don't forget to like us, follow us on social media at VS Movie Podcast. You know the drill. If you're on YouTube, click subscribe. That would be great as well. And until next time, I'm Mark. That is Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you guys. I got to go watch something.
Yeah, me too. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.